the story starts back in, I don't know, probably 2020. We bought this property in 2017. We actually moved out of it and had an expat assignment outside US for a while. So we spent some time in Switzerland and then moved back in 2020. And upon returning to the house, decided it's time to start thinking about making some changes. Of course, it was late pandemic period. We didn't jump on that right away, but later on, 2022, 23, we started getting serious about some outdoor renovation activities. At that time, we actually first came to SPG looking for, or with some interest in Tesla solar roof. SPG is the only Tesla solar roof installer in Central Indiana, so made the connection through Tesla's website. And that's how I got connected with Grady Phillips. Grady came out, he was the estimator. And Grady and I spent a lot of time together after that, so that was the start of a good relationship. Went through some Tesla solar roof opportunities, went through some standard solar, talked a lot about traditional asphalt shingles. But one of the things we found was, as Grady got up and walked around, he found some moderate hail damage. Says, hey, I don't know if you guys are aware, but you did have some hail damage on the roof. And that's something we weren't aware of. We've had other roofers up walking around and didn't have that feedback. So yeah, Grady said, we should check this out. So he thought we may have something we want to submit to our insurance carrier. And this is where the first layer of complexity came in. When we were in Switzerland, we had one insurance carrier. When we came back, we changed to a separate. And in 2023, we actually changed to another one. So we'd been through a couple different carriers for other reasons. But Grady went and did some homework, found out that the most likely time for the hail damage was 2020, which was a previous insurance carrier. So we assumed we're out. There's no way that a previous carrier is going to cover this. It's not going to happen. We're going to need to if we need to redo the roof, it's probably going to be at our own expense. But Grady wasn't so sure, so he decided, hey, let's do the homework. Let's go ahead and put a package together, which we did, and we submitted to the insurance carrier, and they covered about 40% of the total replacement cost at that time. So we were excited, considered it kind of a windfall. And Grady said, no, let's take the next step now. So he brought, he took a look at our contract with our previous insurance carrier. He talked about the appraisal opportunities that we had and brought his expertise into the process and said, I think there's another round that is value added here. So we went down that path again with Grady and a couple other colleagues or counterparts that came in and went through the full appraisal process, made another submission with the carrier, and we ended up with basically full coverage. And so when you think back to starting a discussion around, hey, maybe we need solar, we need to replace the roof, fast forward and we ultimately landed in a position with full coverage, completely due to Grady's expertise and his, tenacity in that process. So clearly we were pretty excited about how that part played out.
Yeah, SPG did a fantastic job of facilitating the entire process for an entire roof replacement, including gutters and all related items. It was excellent. We would not be in the beautiful position we are today without Grady's help specifically. So when we first started working on the roof project, everything looked very different. It had a very different style, much more kind of cottagey. It was browns and like browns with green accent, something more, well, I guess cabin in the woods style, which is great, but we really felt the property needed something different because the community that we live in kind of demands a higher standard from the properties that are here. So we wanted a modernization of style and kind of bringing together what we love about the property, that cozy cottage feel, with a more modern look that really fits in the community. So we chose a new color scheme, and SPG really helped us with that, brought samples for us to choose from, and we went back and forth on how to select the exact one that we thought would fit. You want to talk more about the exact one that we chose?
Yeah, so again, we were looking for a change, and we got a change. The brown and forest green color palette has changed into charcoal, black, and an almost black roof, and it's exactly what we're looking for, including the white accents on the front of the house. So pretty significant change in look. And again, Grady brought us options. We saw Malarkey options, we saw Owens Corning options. We talked about aesthetics, we talked about cost, we talked about durability, different class ratings for hail damage prevention, things like that. And as expected, walked us through those options and supported us in making the decision that was ultimately the right one for the property. We're very happy with where we landed. The aesthetics are amazing. It's going to be a high quality shingle that lasts a long time. So I think we landed in the right spot. It's exactly what we wanted.
Yeah, and people that haven't seen the property since we have done the new roof and the work on the exterior, sometimes they can't put their finger on exactly what changed, but then when you point out, well, the color scheme is different and it's very modern, they're like, oh yes, that's it. And I mean, nobody gives us any negative feedback about it, but of course they're not going to. I was really worried about selection, but again, Grady helped us through all of that and made it really easy, much easier than I thought. The masterful way he led us through the hail damage piece was, it exceeded my expectations. But then when it was time to install, holy smokes, was it not so fun?
Yeah.
The number of humans that showed up, the prep work with the tarps on the ground, the tools in use, there was a crew with a lady on it. So just the work was great and it happened so fast. We've done so much work around our house that we are very familiar with timeline slipping, and this timeline did not slip. It was fast. I was really happy with how it all went down.
Yeah, I agree. My expectations were, with a big property, a big ranch style home with a big roof and then a second building, I was assuming it's 3 or 4 days worth of work. Grady says, oh no. No, this is a day. I said, okay, we'll see how this goes. But to Meg's point, when the crew showed up, it was on. So everybody they were locked in. They were clearly professionals and experts in their areas, and they went through it in a well-defined pattern as they went through the project during the day. Tear off, make sure everything's inspected, ready to go. We didn't have a lot of repair that was needed, which was nice. So they got right into installation on the new roof, and by the time sun was getting low in the sky, they were wrapping up and picking up the nails out of the yard and the driveway, and they were off. It was amazing. It was impressive to watch it all come together.
Yeah, and even follow-up things that we had that I didn't know that SPG would support so well. It's fast. So one of the things we learned in this process was that we have a chimney problem. We thought we had just a roof problem. Turns out we had a roof and a chimney problem. Well, these guys on these production crews who installed the roof and did a beautiful job and are very confident in their work, as they should be. I call up and they come out as soon as there's a problem, like within an hour. They're here and they find the problem. And they go over it. They take video. They come down and they show it to me. They have one person in the roof, one person on top, another person feeding the hose. They found the problem. It was the chimney. They took film of it. Now we know what to go and fix, et cetera, et cetera. So even after the project is done, like, we call when we have a question or a problem, and the response is immediate. It's, again, exceeding my expectations. So we're here right now, telling you why.
That's one of the things I told Grady going in. I said, I know it's going to look amazing. I know it will. It can never leak. I never want even one drip in my house. That's the expectation. And so we did have a very hard rain coming out of the south or something, not standard direction. And we had a couple drips and thought, oh, here we go. Grady, you got to come fix it. But as Meg mentioned, it wasn't the roof, it was the chimney,
Yeah.
and the crew fixed the chimney. So it's not just a roofing crew, it's a chimney crew evidently, and they were able to find and resolve the problem for us. So that was excellent support and follow-up.